Glass is one of the most common materials used today, but the history of glass goes all the way back to prehistoric times. Natural types of glass, such as obsidian, which is formed by volcanic lava, was used as a prehistoric cutting tool because of its very sharp edges. Natural glass can also be formed when lightning strikes the sand. The first historical evidence of the artificial production of glass, however, dates back to the late Bronze Age. Humans began working with metals before the process for developing glass was discovered. However, in the 12th century BC, many Bronze Age civilizations surrounding the Mediterranean collapsed, so glass production came to a halt. However, in the days of the Roman Empire, glass was being made, and evidence of Roman glass has been found in India and as far as China. Glass production became more advanced in the Middle Ages in Europe, however. In the 13th century in England, broadsheet glass began being made. Also, stained glass windows for cathedrals were being made. Glass can take on different colors when different impurities are added to it. Also in the late 13th century, in around the year 1290, however the exact year is not agreed upon by historians, glasses to enhance eyesight were first made in northern Italy. By the 16th century in Venice, flat sheets of glass were being used to make mirrors, where an amalgam of mercury and tin was poured onto the glass. The surface of the glass provided a transparent surface that protected the mercury-tin alloy from oxidation. Metals, when they're exposed to the atmosphere, will typically oxidize and not provide a reflective surface good enough to make a mirror out of. However, the glass protected the surface from oxidation, and since the glass was transparent, a good mirror was developed. By the early 17th century, in 1608, the first telescope was made. Galileo was credited for developing the first telescope. However, the first patent for a telescope was filed by Hans Lippershey in the Netherlands in 1608, just before Galileo developed his telescope. Galileo's telescope, however, was able to magnify 20 times, whereas the first telescope was only able to magnify 3 times. By the 19th century, more developments were being made. Sir George Biddle Airy developed the first lenses to fix astigmatism in his own eyes in 1825. It is said he got the idea by looking through cylindrical lenses. Also in the mid-19th century, Henry Bessemer, who is best known for developing the Bessemer process, a much more economical process for developing steel, developed a method to float glass on top of molten tin, which is how most plain glass is made today. However, at the time, the process was not economical. Also, tempered glass was first developed in the 19th century. Tempered glass was made by taking nearly molten glass and quenching it in hot oil. Blacksmiths had been using the quenching process with water to cool metal quickly for many centuries. However, the tempered glass was quenched in hot oil because quenching it in water would cool it too much too quickly. The process of machine rolling glass was also developed in the 19th century. By the year 1959, float glass had finally become economical, and this is how most flat plain glass, such as in doors and windows, is made today. In the 20th and 21st century, plastics had become of much greater use as a transparent material. However, glass is still widely used, and advances are still made in the industry of glass. Over the centuries and decades, the process of making glass for different purposes has been refined. Now many different types of glass exist. Glass that is designed to withstand heat, glass that is extra strong, and glass that is more flexible. Despite being a very old material, glass will have continued applications well into the future.